The Senate attached the autism coverage.
And autism coverage alone was the only thing that...
Yep, if they had not attached the autism coverage, it would have passed. That was the catch. I mean, that was the hang-up. The autism coverage was the hang-up. It should not have been.
But what ended up happening is there wasn't that support in the House for that particular autism bill, and as a result, in effect, the medical cannabis bill was held hostage, and ultimately, in a poor show of political gamemanship, the bill was not voted on again, and it died.
There was obviously undeniable support for the bill, so much that the autism insurance coverage mandate got attached to ours because they thought it would be a sure way to get theirs in. Unfortunately, in the final hours when our bill was pulled back off separately, the Senate wasn't willing to address ours separately. And we were there at the Capitol until 12 a.m. that final night, waiting, even in those last few minutes, hoping that Lieutenant Governor Casey Cagle would step in and say, you know what, let's do the right thing. If we can't help all the kids, let's at least help these sick children be able to get access to this medicine and come home. And we were incredibly disappointed when they didn't do that.
I mean, it was two completely unrelated pieces of legislation that, for only political reasons, they put together in one bill. So, I mean, they were playing politics with our kids.
They're separate ideas, and they ought to be evaluated on their own merits. They're too important for that. My hope is that each of those measures can be debated on its own, considered on its own, and voted up or down on its own. Those advocating for the medical cannabis bill are simply wanting an opportunity. They're not asking for funding. They're not asking for a subsidy, or they're not asking for anything other than the opportunity to seek treatment. That's a little different than the other issue. I think we ought not be talking about looking for ways to merge, but we ought to be talking about debating the bills on their own merits independently, one from the other.
The biggest thing that we need to happen is actually get a supply of medicine here in Georgia. And the only way to do that right now with the federal laws is to grow it in our state.
I think first and foremost, it's to do some type of decriminalization to bring the families in Colorado home. They need to know that they can bring the medicine back here, and while it still may be illegal to take it across state lines federally, if they're willing to take that risk, they need to know that when they get back here, they don't have to worry about DFACS knocking on their door or the cops showing up and throwing them in jail just for simply having the medicine. So that really is the first step. And then after that, it will be looking at what kind of a comprehensive program can we get to help as many people as possible.
We're not asking for, what Colorado has from recreational, what Washington has from recreational. We're asking to get the right medicine to the right people. That's really it.
So many states have passed legislation that they aren't able to implement because of federal issues. Like Kentucky is growing marijuana, but they can't give it to the kids that need it. It's just like our state. We can possess it, but where are we going to get it from? We didn't go home completely empty-handed, but, do I have medicine I can give my child? We still have to get to that point.